What's going on, guys? In this video I plan to go pick up my other Bumpside CrewCab Ford truck. The other one is in a little bit better condition up close. From a distance this one looks pretty nice because it's shiny, but it's way rustier, and I sprayed down this other truck completely with fluid film. So we're going to see how it held up after parking it in the swamps of eastern North Carolina for over a year. Prior to that it was at my house in Florida, and then I found it in Tennessee. So I'll show y'all a little recap of everything. We'll go get it, see what kind of condition it's in. It's had the hood off of it for over a year out in the rain, so the motor's probably shot, but let's go find out. Got the bumper. Ah, my foot. Ah, perfect. Bumper's gone. There we go. Dramatic. All right, y'all. We got the grocery getter hooked up because the Suburban is still a little bit out of commission. But we've got my buddy TJ's awesome enclosed trailer here. We're getting bit up by mosquitoes right now, but we're at some old family land that I've been storing my truck at, and today we're going to try to get this old crew cab loaded up so it doesn't get torn up the next storm that rolls through. We're expecting Tropical Storm Debbie to hit Florida, maybe die out, but maybe come up this way, and I don't want to get in a situation where I can't come get this thing, and then this old tree right here, I don't trust it to not fall on it. And as straight as this roof is, I really would hate to see that. So I'm going to try to get this thing loaded up. We're going to pull it out either with the four-wheeler or one of these trucks around here. I got some family that's here still, so we're gonna get working on that and try to get it in the trailer. See how many snakes fall out here. Damn, I got a nice comfy seat. I'm ready to go.
Dude, I'd have done stole that.
Well, you could have. Sitting here, I know there's something living in it. I got the back seat in the front.
The front one was messed up and you moved it forward.
Yeah, it's just easier to sit on.
Can you turn that wheel?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is
okay.
Good. Parking brakes off. It's ready to go.
He's ready. Take your foot off the brake.
Ain't no foot on the brake here. It's crazy.
Go! You better turn quick. You got to be turning.
For me, I'm good. I'm ready.
All right, go ahead. I thought you were having trouble turning.
No, it's not. I just can't do it.
You control the wheel. Yeah, I do that, but it won't turn in enough. You know what I mean?
Then we can just...
Does she drive good?
Yeah, she runs great, man. Look at that thing. Ready to go.
Oh! Really needed to bend over that way more.
You need the truck to come that way a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
I was messing with it when I got stung. We found the wasps. Watch out. There they are. They don't like that mirror being touched.
What, they
must be in that door.
They like that mirror too.
Let me get good, let you know where they're at. Miss.
There you go. She's ready. She'll fit in there now.
Are we ready?
We want to see what it does.
And then they call you trying to put a truck in there.
Nah, that'll work. All right.
Ready?
Go for it.
You need to turn this wheel.
You think so? All right, you're up on the wood now, so that'll be easier.
Okay, where am I on that block?
You're midway down it and center. Center both ways. All right, you're going down the block some, but you still got the hitch ball or catch it.
Oh, it's gonna mess. It's gonna. We need to do something different now. I don't know what it'll be.
So I think this ball will catch it for as soon as it drops down lower.
Tell him to go ahead and just.
Yeah, the ball will catch it.
And at this point too, the four-wheeler could probably get it. I just couldn't get it up on there if you don't want to mess it up.
Hell, I'll try it.
Good idea with that block. Never lose what you done got.
Yes, sir.
I'll get that block.
Now he's going to
Joe,
keep on coming.
There we go. And be ready to throw it back in if you need to.
Come on, you get ready to come on the board. Come on. Picking up with it now.
Yeah, yep. You're matching it. It's going good. All right, another foot.
Nope, we can do this with the lawnmower because it's going to get too much weight on that tailgate.
You think so? Oh,
yeah.
That thing is? Okay. All right, hold what you got for a second.
Alright, you're good. You can back out.
All right, it's chopped. You're good.
See what I mean about turning the wheel that way? I knew she was going to end up tight over here.
Yeah.
Now she's on your wheel well coming out. You're going to have to turn it. It's going to be hard to get to it to turn it now, see?
Yep.
See what I mean? I knew she needed a little turn.
Yep. At this point, the only thing we could do is try to climb in through the window that's busted out and get stung and then turn it a little bit,
I
but
don't know if you can get in there.
we'll either deal with it now or later, so I think we'll just go ahead and shove it in there.
Yeah, you might could get in there.
Because that tarp right there is covering an open window, but then you got wasps right there for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with them mean little bastards.
Yeah, they went all the way down my arm. As I swatted it, it hit me like 3 times.
I wonder what this was for.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Isn't it?
That's got a nice
Wait a
damn.
minute, that's the kind of hitch like it's on that 250 dually I got.
That's what I mean. It's damn.
But mine swivels side to side. But that's for like pulling peanut trailers.
You think so? Or it had like a pin in it, and it was like going like that with a pin.
Yeah, it's a ton. Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, mine comes out and goes side to side, but a spring on the back.
Yeah,
side
I always wondered why it was like
$5
this too.
hitch.
It's got play in it. It's interesting.
It's got a spring on it.
Yeah, somebody really needed it for something.
Yeah, they were using it.
When I parked it
They
here,
bought it on an auction from a county road department, and then they turned it into a farm truck pulling peanut trailers or something like that. That's why the bumper's all. That's a homemade bumper rig there.
Yep. This thing was running when I parked it here, but I don't plan on keeping this motor, and now it's got water in the motor. Well, we just hung out for a little while we waited for all the wasps to die. We put a balm in here and also sprayed the nest. We were all getting lit up by the wasps right there. and you might be able to see the bomb we threw it in there somewhere. I actually can't see it in this lighting, but we got this thing all de-wasped. You can see one of them laying right there. There's a few of them here. There's looks like a baby one. I don't know what that is, but I think we killed all the insects, and now we're gonna strap it down and head on down the road. Took us a little longer to get on the road than we thought, dealing with the wasps, and now we have ourselves a flat tire. And the kicker is the jack and spare tire is way in the front of this thing, which is full of truck and four-wheeler, so we'll see if we can get to it. All right, so here is our fitment situation. We have the truck all the way in the front so we can fit the four-wheeler, and we got to get the spare tire and the jack out through this little sliver or up above, and jacks are not light, so we'll see how it goes. So here's how our tire is looking. You can see it's missing a few pieces and parts. It had a little bubble on it before we left, and we were a little concerned about it, and should have just changed it. It's flat. There's your problem right there. That's not supposed to do that. This thing's also hot too. Come on, NASCAR. The mosquitoes are out. Let's go. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. The heavy rain rolled in from the storm, and we decided to just let the truck ride it out at my buddy TJ's house, and then we used his Bronco to bring it back over to mine about a week later. Finally unloading my last piece of my puzzle here after it sat in the trailer for a week and a half. This is my 1971 crew cab. We'll get it out where you can see it, but had stuff growing on it. I had it parked out in my hunting land, and she's pretty rough, but we'll get her out and I'll steal some parts off of it to finish my other one. Here on the back side of the truck house, I've got this awesome little storage unit space here. This is 24 foot deep because it's a 24 foot wide building. And I believe it's about 12 foot wide here with an 8x10. No, I think it's an 8x8 door. I'd have to remeasure, but I'm pretty sure it's 8x8. I know my front ones are 10x10 and they're a lot bigger. So I think this one's 8x8. I'd have to double check, but plenty of room to fit my crew cab long bed in here. So really stoked on that. It's finally in here. This is why I added on this part of the building. Additionally, my concrete stops right there because I'm in the city limits here, and my building concrete could not be any closer to the property line, and I've got a ditch right here next to it. So don't mind all the girly kid floats and stuff. I'm a girl dad, and I got a little boy as well, but here's my backyard ditch. That's my property line there. So with that, I want to talk about the fluid film that I put on this thing about a year ago, at least a year ago or so. I coated this whole thing inside and out with fluid film, and I noticed it made the doors open and close real nice, which is still the case. So if y'all take a look at a couple clips from when I sprayed it, I also encourage you to watch that whole video, the process of coating this thing. I did not do the bed or much of the frame. Just certain spots that I was kind of worried about. I guess I did the frame and the cab really is the only thing I was worried about. So I did not do everything. You can see the bumpers totally like dry. The bed is totally untouched. I did also do the exterior of the cab, which more or less washed off after a year. You'll see some spots here are still kind of sticky and dirty from the fluid film, which I was really worried about this drip rail rusting because this surface rust had already started when I bought the truck, but as y'all can see, that's looking nice and solid still. This drip rail and this centerpiece here, this being a crew cab, that's what makes these hard to come by, and the parts are hard to replace without some serious fabrication. You can't just buy, like from LMC truck, that centerpiece there or a roof for one of these. You have to make it or steal it from another truck. So I was excited about this one being pretty straight and rust free, and that's why I wanted to keep it that way with the fluid film. With stuff growing out of it and a bed full of parts that also got full of pine straw and a few beer cans and all that good stuff, this thing was parked out in the country on some land I used to live on in a trailer when I was a little kid, and it is a really swampy area. Not the best conditions, very humid. The ditches stay full of water. It's really close to the sound, so very salty, worst case environment for an old truck like this. And I went and got it before the most recent storm, which was Hurricane Debbie, but I know this thing sat through several storms, had tree limbs fall in the bed over time. I ended up taking one of them out, like a big massive one. There's part of it there. But this thing has definitely been through it, worst case scenario. So let's see how the fluid film held up. I did not expect it to last on the outside. That's not what it's for. You put it in the nooks and crannies, door panels, inside, underneath, places that are not constantly getting blasted to keep it from corroding from the inside out. So I want to look at basically the inside of the doors and everything and just kind of see what held up. Typically the seal area here, where it meets up with the door, here, all this outside of that will get water dripping down it, so that's technically outside. But I did fluid film up my latches pretty good, and as y'all could see from how these are closing and opening, that's still working pretty nicely. The door does sag a little bit, needs to be adjusted, so you can see the gaps are not perfect. But overall, really excited about how smooth that is still working. You can see this is all nice and dirty from water running down in there and sticking to the fluid film. But inside here on these hinges, they are nice and quiet, and you can still see a little bit damp in there from all the fluid film. So that is definitely held up in there in those hard to reach places. You can see that's fluid film inside there, which obviously I don't want it to rust down there, so I'm excited to have the fluid film in there. I did spray all inside of here as well. Some of that, not as much. I just kind of let it get fogged. You can see I have a couple other fenders in here. That's from this truck, obviously. And then, again, I mentioned the seats came out of my 1967 crew cab, even though these are 1979 Bronco seats somebody swapped in. But I'm going to keep those, reupholster them, put those in the front, and this one in the back with some nice, like, distressed brown leather or vinyl. Make it look kind of King Ranch, old school. And then you can see the fluid film again all up here. I was really worried about the drip rail, so I wanted this inner edge to be totally coated. So it looks like that is still kind of wet, actually, as far as the fluid film. It has the fluid film still kind of tacky on it, which was the idea there. Sorry if that wasn't the best angle, but you've got fluid film all in there, and that was definitely a spot I was worried about. See that rust there? Definitely was worried about that, and you can kind of see how it is wet. It is not from water. This sat outside with windows down for over a week. It's totally dry in here now. Anywhere that looks damp, that is the fluid film is still tacky and doing its job, and otherwise it has dried on and is still a nice protective coating. Look at this. This is all fluid film here. There's a coat of basically like oil, but it's the fluid film that is keeping all this protected. There was some rust forming here when I parked it, as well as these bubbles here, and you can see there's still fluid film on that, so that has not gotten any worse. There's also no holes here yet. I'm probably going to replace some of that, but we'll see once I either sandblast it or sand that down if I end up with some holes. But I have seemingly stopped it from getting any worse for the year that it sat out in the salty, humid conditions. So just to give a quick kind of recap of what I'm seeing here for the doors, we've got fluid film on the inner part in between the outside and the seal, so water was kind of running down that somewhat, but overall that held up. And then everything inside that I sprayed is still wet. You can see down here in this corner that I was worried about rusting, a lot of it is still protected by fluid film, whereas this bottom corner is kind of rinsed off, and that doesn't surprise me where this is rusted here. So that didn't last there, but I'm sure it held up for a while. And then everything up above here did. Let's get underneath and see how it's looking there. So still on the driver's side, and you can see the frame is definitely a wet fluid film color. If you look at that edge right there, it's kind of dusty. Look at that drive shaft. See how the drive shaft looks dry and the frame is a darker color? That's definitely got fluid film. You can see there are some dry spots, but that is definitely still got fluid film on it. So down at the frame, you can see where it has dripped between the bed and the cab is a little dry, but most everything I sprayed under here still looks wet and protected. This window was already filthy, and then I sprayed fluid film right on it, so that didn't help at all. You can see some dirt has kind of stuck to the surface here. This being outside in the wind, rain, and sun is now dry. The fluid film did not stay on the outside, but down on the inside, we might have some in some of the nooks and crannies, hopefully. So let's see how that's looking. A little bit there in the corner I can see. Hard to say, but a lot of this exterior stuff has washed off, as well as the frame here where water was just running down there. So obviously this is not like a paint. This is a undercoating or, you know, nooks and crannies thing, so it's not going to hold up if you're constantly washing it or if it's sitting out through storms for a year. But I'm really excited about the places that held water originally and, you know, down underneath, like the frame, that are still nice and wet with fluid film. Coming around to this side where the roof is from my rolled Suburban and the back doors, if y'all haven't seen yet, I've cut that off and made it into a 4-door Blazer. Pretty excited about that. But under here, it's looking very similar. This side's a little dry there in the front, and then it gets nice and wet where it was protected by the cab. So basically, if you had a front end, if you had a hood on your truck, the frame would stay nice and wet underneath there unless you're pressure washing it off all the time. That's part of my bungee cord. I thought that was a snake for a second. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. So looking in here, you can see the roof's nice and wet still. Kind of hard to fit in here with the truck parts. All right, so yeah, very similar story over here as far as being wet on the hinges and all, so that's really nice. Wet down here with fluid film everywhere that I expected from the other side, and that closes nicely. A little bit of rust falls out, but that was already there. And we'll do this door just to not hide anything from you, but looks very similar here as well. Check out this little guy. Not sure if I brought him from out in the country or if that was since I parked it here, but I have not seen too many lizards like that here at this house, so I might have a new species of reptile here to eat my bugs, so I'm not mad about that. So in summary, guys, I'm really stoked that we did not get any new rust that I can see on this truck over a year of sitting it out in the marsh. This thing has been a pretty straight, you know, work truck for what it is. It's been a hard life for it. I'm excited to use the leftover parts I have between putting the 67 truck and a couple single cab parts on my 2016 6.7 Power Stroke. That should leave me with a running V8 to put in this thing, as well as a manual transmission. It's got a straight 6 300 right now that is not locked up, surprisingly, after sitting with open carb with water going in it. It's really hard to kill these, but I want a V8 in it, so this one should be a nice old classic truck that I make full drive with a like original-ish V8. So really stoked on that, and as of right now, I'm gonna be borrowing some parts from it, and then whatever I don't use is what this thing's gonna get. So I'm calling my other truck Frank for Frankenstein, and this one's gonna be Lefty. So Frank and Lefty. Lefty's getting all the leftovers, and we should have two nice trucks. One, a crew cab short bed diesel for the family and going around to the beach and everything, and then this will be my going to Lowe's work truck rig with the long bed. I can pick up a truck, pull the trailer with it, not worry about scratching it, throw stuff in the bed, put the four-wheeler in it. So really stoked on that, so y'all stay tuned.